How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Papa Powell going on the microphone. Papa Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what's up, chat? How's we doing? It is a brand new week. Happy President's Day or belated President's Day. Happy Family Day if you're Canadian. So you know, whatever part of the world you're from, if you have a special weekend, Monday day off for yourself over there, happy that day to you too. But overall, yeah, so President's Day on the North American markets, we had Family Day in the Canadian markets, so pretty rare event where both the long weekends actually line up and I actually have a holiday along with the rest of my family. Usually I have a holiday you know, on different times. While the Canadians have their long weekends, the American markets are still going, and when the American markets have their long weekends, the Canadians still have their regular back to schedule work days and so on. So little off schedule usually in Canada, being an American day trader or a trader who trades American stocks on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, little special day on Monday yesterday. Anyways, let's talk about this short week that we got over here, starting with today. Great opportunities on the day today. Boy, I wish I recorded a stream for you guys last night or a video for you guys last night, because the watch list, yesterday's watch list was just beautiful, and you know, 3 of my most top priority names on my watch list yesterday basically set up exactly as you wanted them to, and they gave you a big opportunity today. GRALIONQ and also TEM. So big mean reversion opportunities on TEM and on GRAL. And then you also had IonQ and the rest of the quantum names kind of breaking down a little bit from their previous support areas, giving you a beautiful short opportunity on the breakdown. Also RGTI, ARQQ, and a bunch of other names. So market today had so many opportunities. Even Intel breaking out over here. my father asked me if he should look into buying Intel around $21. I said, yeah, maybe not. You know, you might want to be a little careful because Intel, you never know what's actually happening with Intel, because we've seen it going here before and then plummet back down. But now, you know, maybe things are changing a little bit as Intel. These are a lot of anchored VWAPs that I have just plastered all over the place. Let me get rid of most of these. Get rid of whatever that was. That. So, you know, lots of struggle before, but the new catalyst coming out with AVGO, with TSM, whoever is going to be the people that acquire them. What angle? Or I'll get rid of all these drawings. Whoever's going to be next that's going to acquire them, it's going to be interesting to see how that trade opportunity sets up. But I am interested to see if AVGO gets above that area. It's on my watch list to talk about AVGO. We'll dive into that. So opportunities were there: TSM, Intel, Micron, what others though? I said quantum names which are on the watch list again. IonQ. So lots of stocks today that moved around that hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of. And most importantly, Meta finally breaking its 20-day green streak. Wow, Meta. So solid 20-day green streak on Meta finally comes to an end with a near 3% drop on the day. It actually dropped a little bit more than 3% on the day at one point, but ending down 2.76%. So I'll just say, you know, down 3% on the day overall after, you know, the very famous saying where it's a staircase up, elevator down, but more, I like call it staircase up, you're jumping out the window to the downside, always taking out multiple days gains in one day. And this is, you know, surprisingly enough, how trading works in most senses too. You have a nice base hit, one bad day of tilt, and you're wiping out about 4 to 5 days of green days that you work so hard to accumulate for yourself. However, today was not one of those days. Nice little green day for me, bagged because of some of the opportunities that I mentioned that I was ready for, and I took advantage of those. So let's talk about some of my trades on the day today, starting off with IonQ. Pretty high priority. Very high priority. Let's go open to a new page so that way we can zoom in and so on. Very high priority. The idea was the stock should not be able to get above 36 and stay above 36. So off the open, you know, I'm looking at the pop. It pops slightly above 36, but does not have any staying power. So I'm kind of tape reading that. I take a little size. I really should be, you know, punching size over here against that high as my risk, and that should be a good enough of a trade to begin with. But because I don't have enough size to begin with, I add on the 35 breakdown a much worse EV. However, the trade works for me because I'm in the right side and the momentum's in my favor, so all things are good for me. I'm taking the 35 breakout. That gives me about 80 cents per share on the 35 breakout itself. So I put my stop a little bit above 35. I say, you know what, if I get stopped out over here, it's probably not going to go any lower for the rest of the day. But realistically, how I should have been trading this differently is taking the most size where the EV has the best odds for me. So taking the most size over here, scalping some exits down over here on the drop down. That way I'm not really adding the way I did on 35, or I'm also not adding on the pop the way I did and then taking a loss. So that trade was a loser, and basically turning the winner from the starting of the day into I shouldn't even say a winner, because I basically made a small winner from whatever this size was. I ended up flat on that size, so whatever that size was, I made money on that size. So I made like $1 per share to start the day, and then later I basically lose about 50 cents per share right after that. So kind of nullifies my whole trade. Almost it doesn't matter that I had such a sick opening drive to begin with. So taking the most size there, scalping some profits on the way down, that would have kept me away from the adding on the pops or adding on the breakdown the way I did. Much later, you can see how I'm actually patient, I'm calm, I'm waiting for the stock to show me reasons to get into the trade, and the tape is very clear at that point. I'm using the 15-second chart, I'm looking the time of sales, the tape is very clear. Take entry, but then why again these entries, right? Bad add positions over here. No need to add to the positions. At worst, EV again, it doesn't matter that it's going under 35. You had a much higher EV trade back into the 36 area, but then ruining the EV, punching into these areas, just not worth it. So kind of messed up over there. Later on, I managed to actually close the trade completely, recognizing how screwed up I messed up this trade over here in this area. So I closed the trade, thankfully got a pop on this position. We managed to tape read again around VWAP and capture a nice move to the downside. This time I actually took okay size for me, being able to take profits on the move down, taking some profits into the lower day, and then adding size on the lower day breakdown for the bigger move down later on in the day, which I actually do get gifted by the stock market god. So nice move to the downside today on IonQ. Overall concept was weakness below 36 should take the stock lower, and that's exactly how it's set up. GRAL, boy oh boy, what a beautiful trade, but I just traded it like an absolute idiot. So a couple things that I did wrong over here. I took a blind entry at VWAP, which I guess it's fine, but because of how illiquid and spready the name is, taking even a blind entry at VWAP, I'm opening myself to unnecessary risk. Okay, so that's a problem number one. Second thing is, you could say I could have entered much higher on the failed breakout of high a day, but that's not necessarily a trade that I'm interested to get into. The trade that I'm really interested sets up right around over here. You can see how the stock goes back and forth around the $60 area and this $59 area. After having the failed high a day break, pushes below VWAP, gets back into VWAP, has a little bit of a back and forth tussle around VWAP, and actually doesn't get above $60. So I could have offered afterwards, seeing the sellers come in, or the tape actually, the level 2 didn't actually have a clear obvious seller to play off of, but if you were tape reading it, you could clearly see how the bids would step up every time it goes to 60 bucks. It would just stop, and the offer would stay still, and then the bids would start to drop out, bids would start to drop out, bids would start to drop out, and then the offer starts to chase it to the downside, basically showing you that the sellers are being more aggressive and buyers are moving their price lower because either they know that they can get a better price, or I guess that's all it, right? So they can get a better price, and sellers are not really being as aggressive to go above 60. But once the stock starts to go lower, sellers are then being aggressive to hit the bids. Eventually you get a nice little breakdown. So 59 right here is where I should have added, or at least technically that's where the trade should have started. But since I took that feeler entry, I should have been ready to take the ad, and that ad should have been twice the feeler trade, because the feeler is supposed to be really only 10% of my position. But the way I traded it, I was a deer in the headlights. I blanked out completely when the position actually set up, and I was only being able to manage. And honestly, the spread was ugly. If I'm being honest to you, the spread was ugly. So I did manage to capture about $4.50 per share on a trade that basically gave you $15 per share. right? A trade gave you $15 per share. So even if you waited a couple more minutes from my entry and took the same size a little bit later, you would still be risking $1.50 at best, and the stock gave you $15 per share, near $15 per share. So monster trade, just kind of screwed it up for myself. Along with this one, I had in my notes was TM, which I did not trade at all because I was just too infatuated with GRAL and missed out on TEM. That was a big short opportunity today. NBIS tried to take the $50 breakout area. Didn't really put too much risk on this. I think this was a small red. HIMS, small red on this one. I did put a little bit of risk on this one, but a C-level risk at the end of the day. It looked like it was in no man's land for most of the time, and then it got under VWAP. After getting back into VWAP, it struggled around VWAP over here, and then it was getting ready to take out the previous low that it just made, the previous range low. So I figured, you know, the break of that low could take the stock a little bit lower, potentially back into the day's low, especially with how weak GRAL and TEM was. Not that HIMS is a AI based healthcare stock, but you know, HIMS also is a little extended on the daily, so I was expecting this to break down a little bit. Didn't really give me the move I wanted, kind of got out for a little bit of a loser slash flat trade. The last two trades, SMCI and ACHR. SMCI, idea was to look long above 50 and short if the stock is below 50. But however, right off the open, it was rallying pretty drastically. It went 1 ATR right off the open, or even maybe above 1 ATR right off the open. I took the 2-minute bar breakdown short, risk to high a day, but on that drop, it just didn't have much follow through. It looked like it was going to pay me, but it didn't have much follow through. A lot of back and forth. Basically, they gave me an out to get out for break even, and I said thank you, I'll take my exit for break even. Much later, I try a short under VWAP with a tight stop, and then I try a short again into this 55 area, but I get out of that for a flat exit. It looks like I made the right call because, you know, in the back of my head, the idea was still, you're looking long above 50, you're looking short below 50. So why am I forcing a short on this position? I could have just followed the trend, bought the dips, and the dip would have been the easiest thing to partake in, because the stock gave you multiple dips where the risk was maybe, you know, 50 cents, $1 at best, and it gave you more than $1 per share reward each time. So sometimes just join the trend, ladies and gentlemen. It's much easier. Talking about joining the trend, I tried to do that on ACHR, but no, I kind of went a little full idiot mode on this one. I thought this was kind of a bouncy ball. Had a higher low with the flat top each time. So nice flat top into 1135. Tried the first breakout over here above VWAP, got stopped out. Tried again and basically added to my trade each time it was working, because I really wanted to build into size on this trade, but that didn't work, so I got stopped out for I think kind of break even on that one. That was a loser. And then I just after getting stopped out because I had so many entries and it looked like I was actually going to win on this trade, I was so upset, and this is where I started tilting, and I was like, okay, this is where I need to make this money back. And I started taking more size, and I was like, okay, what am I doing? This is just stupid. Let me just walk away from this trade. This trade is just stupid. It just doesn't make sense. Just staying away from this one name, which I did not plan for. I was watching Trade the Pool with Money Mitch. Money Mitch had Michael Noss on that on his show today, and somebody else that I haven't seen before. So I can't really say who it is. But Money Mitch and Michael Noss, I know them. They're the homies. Amazing show at Trade the Pool going on at the moment. I had them on in the morning, and I heard them talk about ACHR, so I figured, hey, okay, let me take a dabble in a stock that I didn't even plan for on the day. And that was the dumbest thing I could have done today, because that cost me 0.3 risk units. So 0.3 risk units wasted on a stock that I didn't even plan to trade. Whereas SMCI, for example, I probably lost 0.05 risk units. So it just goes to show how much more money I lost on a stock that I didn't even plan for, compared to a stock that I kind of planned for, but I just went against my own plan over there. And then a stock that I planned for, I made one full risk unit on that stock that I planned for. Actually, technically, I made, 2.3 risk units. So I made more than what I risked for on that trade. On this one, I made more than what I risked for, but that could have been 13, 14 risk unit winner today. Right? So that one was whoopsies, I saw kind of situation. But those are the trades that I really need to master and get better, so I could home run these big days on the market, really swing about to swing those type of trades and have a big day on the market. Okay, so that was my trades on the day today. A quick little summary of the trades from me. Let's talk about the watch list for tomorrow. Here's a quick summary from your boys at Centerpoint. Quick summary from Centerpoint, talking about some of the movers on the day, such as Intel, quantum names, SMCI, Meta, robotics. Obviously, you can use this to make your watch list from. I also have my own watch list from a bunch of other names like earnings, baskets, today's movers, some of the names from here, some of the names that I found on my own by scanning the daily chart. So let's quickly just run through some of the names over here and see if we can find any trade opportunities. Starting with Intel. Let's talk about... I'll put that. What I was gonna do is talk about all the A+ opportunities that I found on the market today. But then at that point, I would just be, giving away way too much secret sauce to you guys, which technically you have access to if you go look at my link tree. So if you actually want the secret sauce that I was going to give out, you can head over to my Linktree page in the description or in my profile if you're watching me on Twitter. And you will find something called Charts Catalog, and then you can find all the secret answers in there if you're interested in that. So I'll put that in there. Anyways, let's talk about Intel today. Intel has been on a little bit of a rally, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit, I guess you could say a big rally, right? Intel has been on a monstrous rally at the moment, and it's currently up 15% from its 5-day moving average. It's at its 250-day moving average, and I would say for a large cap stock, it's a little overextended on the daily chart. So I'm really looking for the stock to cap out and give me a good mean reversion short tomorrow, somewhere into potentially $30. If it does pop into 30 tomorrow, I'm more than interested for that opportunity to look for a good mean reversion short. Do I think the stock is closing above 30? I don't think so. I don't think it closes above 30 by any chance. So if it does go into 30, kind of like what Palantir did today at 125, if it can go into 125 right off the open and then struggle, it could give you a monster short opportunity. So that's something that I'll be watching out for. A little bit of a blow off top, but I'm not looking long on a breakout trade at all. If Intel doesn't really give me an exhaustion or some sort of a capitulation to short into tomorrow right off the open, I'll give it up to like 11 o'clock or so to give me a short setup. If that doesn't if that's not even in the picture, because Intel's actually gapping down and is testing supports but even before it goes higher, then if that's the case, I might look for some longs on dips. So you just gotta look for where the stock is. Keep in mind that Intel is now back above the 200-day moving average and in between the 200 and the 250-day moving averages. So pretty solid recovery from its struggle period. And if I'm looking long, it would not be on breakouts. So I'm gonna quickly put in my notes. Looking, what's the point? I don't even read my notes, which I should be. Looking short 30 if stock sets or mean reversion play. If stock dips, holds pre swaps will rest it in. Okay, so pretty high priority with how it's moving at the moment. Can't be ignoring Intel at all. If you are interested in some levels, I can see 2850, 2950 kind of coming into play, 30 kind of coming into play, and then the stock kind of slamming down from there. So I don't really want to throw out a resistance level right now, because I want to see what happens in pre-market. I want to see what happens off the open tomorrow, and whatever level I put right now, it might not even matter for tomorrow. But right off the bat, you can see how it's right into these 200-day moving averages. So resistance, I'm just gonna put in 250 DMA, which the stock is exactly playing at the moment. 250 DMA 2770. Above or below that, I guess above that, I'll put in the $30 area that I might be interested in, because I can see the stock popping into that area and then giving us some sort of an opportunity to play. Okay, TSM. So I'm not really sure what the news is. What's going on? Who's buying out Intel? Is TSM buying out Intel? Is Intel being invested through TSM, and they're going to move the production to America, in Texas, where the foundry is? I'm not a news guy, okay? Nor am I going to pretend to be. All I do care about is price action, and at the moment, TSM looks like a little bit of a retracement from everything that the news catalyst brought in on Friday. So a little bit of a retracement, still holding above Friday's VWAP. Yeah, still holding above Friday's VWAP. So I guess not 100% cancellation of the news catalyst move, as long as still holding Friday's VWAP. It's not really holding the Friday news VWAP, I'll bet you that by any money, but it's still holding Friday VWAP at the moment, and any buying opportunity above 200 could just potentially keep giving you a dip buy opportunity and then an eventual breakout to the upside. But I'm just not that interested to look for a trade at the moment on TSM compared to AVGO, if that sets up, or any of the other semiconductor names that I'm going to bring up. It's on the watch list, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see a clear enough pattern for me to play with. AVGO $238. Once 238 comes into play, I want to see how AVGO reacts with it. I thought it would come into play today. It did not. It actually gapped lower, moved to the downside. So whenever it decides to break out to the upside through that price point, I'll be interested with that. I thought I had an alert set for that. I don't, so let me set an alert right now and move that. 7, yes, 237, and I'll be ready for whenever AVGO is getting ready for a breakout. I think if 238 breaks, AVGO could easily go to 250, so you want to be ready for that one. Micron making a pop back into previous ranges, getting back above 100, and making a nice pop on, I forget what the news catalyst was. I think something about some new chips. So clearly you could think of today as day one, but keep in mind the stock was just at $87 and now it's at 107 110 area. So I'm not expecting much more room to the upside to come into play tomorrow. Maybe some pullback, maybe an inside day. So watch out for some pullbacks on Micron at the moment. I would not look for a breakout longs on that one. SMCI. I mean, what can I say? SMCI is insane at the moment. It's almost like, you know, they are not fraudulent at all. But you know, I guess the fact that they had somewhat of a preliminary earnings report was read decently or appreciated enough by the market, so the market started buying up SMCI. February 25th, I guess, is still the important date. If they don't report their 10K, which is the annually final filings, that's going to be trouble for SMCI holders, investors. You might even see you know, the pump into that date and the sell before that date, just as people want to deleverage themselves. Is 25th a Saturday? Okay, that's Tuesday next week. So, you know, people deleveraging before that date just to be safe. So that might also be something to keep an eye out for. I still think if this stock is not a fraudulent company, and they have, which, you know, maybe not 100% of them is fraudulent, maybe 10% of them is fraudulent, but still that means 80%, 90% of them is not fraudulent, and that means they still have a lot of legitimate growth and a lot of legitimate revenue sources because of AI, and their price to earnings ratio is very cheap, and the stock could easily go back to $100, which technically means the stock is back into $1,000. So you know, I'm just not sure that the bearish case is as strong anymore, unless the 10K filing doesn't come out. So you want to be careful. Very news related stock. We'll see if the 10K filing comes out, and if the stock doesn't report 10K and it shows growth and it shows that there's no fraudulent activities, I would not be surprised with the move back into 100, and then we'll see what happens. 100 or below 100, I guess, would be the new question for SNCI. However, for tomorrow / rest of the week, monster move today on this name. What would I be wanting to see on the stock tomorrow? I mean, the stock was at 38.50, 37.50 last week, Thursday, and it's at 55 today. So I'm not really expecting another big explosive move. I'm really not. So once again, not looking for breakout longs at all, and I might look for some sort of a mean reversion short. Looking for mean reversion short main. So watching how the stock can set up for a possible mean reversion short play for moi. Alright, IonQ. Clear bearish sentiment has been put into the stock at the moment, and the whole sector. RGTI getting below 1180 and 1080 and 1050. ARQQ getting to the downside. ARQQ actually getting ready for the perfect breakdown, so I love seeing that. That means I still have another great trading opportunity over here to partake with, but sadly no volume on this name. No volume. Let me put that in my notes. No volume at all, so might be ready, but would love to look for if stock is weak under. Putting that as a little bit of a high priority, and we'll be watching how ARQQ sets up. QUBT, lots of volume. I mean, at least a lot better than ARQQ, which is only trading with 500,000 shares, and QUBT is trading 18 million to 12 million shares or so. So lots of more volume on QUBT, but no real pattern / flat bottom that I want to short off of. So moving past this one, QMCO. Volume dying down on this one big time also, and it kind of already broke that bottom. LAES, did you have? Oh, yes, sir. And good volume too. That's what I like to see. So 296, what is that? That is 276. LAES. 75 to 95. I'll be watching to see if I can find some weakness on the breakdown. If weak under support range, look for shorts. Color Ion Q. Basically, stock should not find any buying on pops. Today's VWAP should be day 1, and if that's the case, stock should not be able to get above today's VWAP. But if it does get above today's VWAP, I should not be able to see buyers stepping in above 36. That should be the final line in the sand for buyers tomorrow. Today's VWAP is around 34.50. I won't be surprised if the stock makes a pop to 36, but I'll put 34.50 as an inflection level. Yesterday's VWAP, and then I'll put 36 as my final line as defense. Looking short on pops if stock can stay under 36. Okay. Purple, yeah, we'll give it a purple because it was a pretty good trade for me today and pretty high important trade for me today, and it played out perfectly. Wanted to. RGTI levels are a little bit more choppy. It already had that breakdown, then it popped back up, then it has the breakdown again. Still on watch. I'm going to keep shuffling through these whole quantum baskets throughout the day as I was today to see where the stocks are moving in tandem or not. How are they how strong are the strong ones? Do they have a lot of volume behind them? Do they have any news behind them? How weak are the weak ones? Do they have any volume behind them? Do they have any specific news behind them? And then I'm always gauging between you know, my own chart, my own setup, and then the rest of the basket of stocks, and seeing how they're influencing my trade, and then checking how the overall market is also potentially influencing my trade or not influencing my trade. So always looking at these factors on IonQ. Today actually I felt like I was in the flow state. You know, just completely in the flow state. When I was looking at the market, when I was looking at IonQ, being able to analyze when to get in, when to get out. Not on the open for the IonQ obviously, but second half of the day on IonQ when I got the VWAP short. Ooh, absolute flow state trading over. I loved it. I loved it. Nice green day on IonQ alone. Just IonQ alone. But had I traded Growl better, god damn it, today would have been so much better. META. So we talked about this briefly. Big change in characteristics. So not a single day was red for the last 20 days in a row. But today, not only did it take out previous day's low, it took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days lows taken out in 1 day's breakdown. So 6 days low swiped out. If you were trailing stops on previous days low, or you were using 2 days low because of how tightly it was going over here, and lots of stops potentially triggered, and now on pops, ideally you're potentially looking for shorts. However, if you look at it on the daily chart, the 9 EMA, the 9-day moving average, the stock basically had you know, a wiggle around the 9-day moving average and might just pop right back into trend and keep going higher. One thing to negate that theory is how the market overall had somewhat of a ooh, we actually ended green on the market today. I guess going into the close, the market rallied, huh? Wow, okay, market actually closed green. He actually rallied into the close. Surprise, surprise. So nice little close into the market. That's actually very bullish if you ask me. I'm losing words at the moment because I'm surprised the market did that. So it's actually pretty bullish if you ask me on a short week that the market, when it was looking like a false breakout of all-time high on both the QQQ and the S&P 500, managed to bounce right back to the upside into the end of the day, showing you that buyers came right in and they just let the sellers and the profit takers kind of diddle around on the day, and they really came in at the end of the day and stepped up for defense. So tomorrow I will not be surprised if the market actually gaps up. Do you is those channels still live, like those Think with Bookmap channels? Let's go see if they are. Think with Bookmap. Today 11/20, that's 2 months ago. Months ago, 2 months ago. They don't stream anymore? Aw, Alex, what happened? I know you got any other ones? Live NQ futures. Okay, there's one of these ones. Is this live? Hey, it is Alex. Okay, Alex made a new channel. All right, awesome. So there, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the market actually makes a move higher because of how bullish it was going into the close. It looks like I'm not sure what time this is. 9:39 obviously right now, but I'm not sure what time this is. 18, so I'm guessing that's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, pretty sideways, a little bit of a dip, reclaim right back, a breakout of that 9 o'clock barrier, and now trying to go higher. Not many sellers right now and not too many buyers either. 31 contracts at 22,300 on the Nasdaq futures, and pretty bullish overall if you ask me. Subscriber only. I subscribe for 5 minutes or longer. Okay, whatever. So it looks pretty bullish if you ask me overall in the after hours, and as I expected, that's what the overnight market might just set up for, and we gap up and we take a lot of these positions higher, which is actually very good for SNCI mean reversion tomorrow. That just makes SNCI mean reversion even better. So let's see that pop higher, let's see Intel pop higher, and let's see these mean version short setup on these trades. Coming back to Meta, however, I think if Meta pops back into the all-time high and finds resistance back into 740 area, you might want to look for a short on that pop. But I think even before that pop into 740, 741, you might want to look out to see how the stock trades into today's VWAP, and then how the stock trades below 700. I'm not saying it will come into play, but you might want to keep an eye out for it. It says 717. I'm gonna say 720 to 717 area, which will be yesterday's VWAP. All-time high area 740 to 741, and then I'll be watching the 700 to the bottom side to see if that can give you a breakdown on Meta. I'm not saying that's gonna happen tomorrow, but whenever that sets up, that's a nice even psychological number that you always want to have ready in the back of your mind. Nvidia, not something that I'm really too keen on day trading at the moment. You can see how the volume on Nvidia is slowly creeping back, which is good, but it really doesn't matter. It's still trading 300 million shares every day, so it's not like it's a problem with liquidity. It's more the fact that there's no clear trade that I can see. You could use technical levels such as last week's high, last week's low, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. You can use simple 5-minute patterns on the intraday charts. You can use simple trade opportunities like SMB's capital patterns to trade off of. Like here's a Here's a quick trade. I think that's last week's high, right? So last week's high, stock drops right off the opening drive, goes higher, and then drops all the way into last week's high, bounces off of last week's high, gives you a long over there if you're interested in that, gives you a short from VWAP if you're interested in that. So there's some like pretty obvious levels that you could trade off of and join the trend, whatever trend it is that you're interested to join, either the counter or the trend itself. But you know, I'm not really seeing a big picture pattern, a big picture trade idea that stands out for me. So Nvidia just being that name that's a super stock that has a ton of liquidity, a ton of volume, always trading in it, is just worth having on your watch list for a specific big picture. Moving to the next stock, these are the stocks that actually have a specific big picture because of Nvidia. So Nvidia recently dumped their position in SERV and SOUN. So both of these stocks on watch for continuation. SOUN actually had an inside day. So SSR should not be on trigger tomorrow. Should be even easier to short this position under today's low, or even day one's low, which is 1040. Day one low 1040, today's low 1050. So basically watching this 10-cent range from 1040 to 1050 to see if the stock can give you a short opportunity below to the downside on the day three continuation concept on the fact that Nvidia dumped them. If you look at SCRV, it actually had a great day two opportunity today. Popped into last week's low and then rejected from last week's low as a day two trade. Very, very clean trade opportunity over there. Might actually need to add this to stocks to put in my report at the end of the day. SERV day two RV day two trade. My watch list. Watching for day breakdown of support and SERV watching for. However, it's not going to be a breakdown, it's going to be potentially on pops. So let's look for pops on SERV to short into instead. Okay, now on the opposite side of the trade, WRD. This was Nvidia did not actually cut their stake in WRD, and they continued to hold on to their stake on WRD. This is obviously very extended on the daily chart, if you ask me. All-time high chart up 68%. Is that 68? 66% on the daily chart, away from its 5-day moving average. And if you look at today's chart, it was a nothing burger. It's a dud. It basically struggled to get above the day one high and just kind of stayed above, you know, the $38 area on okay volume, which is not a bad thing. But tomorrow, I think this is where the fun opens up on WRD. Lots of mean reversion names coming into my watch list, so let's watch out to see how this one plays out. I guess the price is $40 for the psychological point, so I'm gonna put 40 as the inflection area. But you can see how 3870/39 is today's low. So if stock can stay below 40/support 40/39, love the short for mean reversion. So watch to see how the stock plays out on that side. Right now I'm gonna put it in my resistance, or should I put it as my support? I'll put it as a support, and potentially will turn into resistance tomorrow. Potentially turns into resistance market, and I don't even get to play with it. I don't even get to play with it. NBIS. Nah, I don't even know why it's on my watch list. Get it on my watch list. ANET, did not even read the earnings report on this one. We gotta read the earnings report. A little bit of a nothing burger move, so maybe don't even need to read the earnings report. Let's skim through it. Let's not be lazy. Let's skim through it really quick. Reported 1.93 versus 1.9. Reported 65 cents versus 57. Reported 25% up on year-over-year basis and 6% compared to prior quarter. Gross margin up, coming in at 63.8. Increased by 95% year-over-year. That's operating cash flow. All numbers are up for the most part. Record 7 billion in revenue. Guidance in the first quarter 1.93 to 1.97 versus 1.91, above estimates. First quarter gross margin to be 63%, pretty much in line to quarter over quarter. Arista Networks executives will further discuss the conference call, and at the time of the report, stock was up 2.65%, but sadly, going into the after hours, the stock actually moved a little bit lower and closed under last week's low. So not sure if this bearish sentiment is going to stick around tomorrow. I think with that growth 25% year over year, let's quickly go check out and what's up, peeps, over there. Let's quickly go check out what in the world. Let's quickly go check out what is the PE ratio on a net. 53, not that bad. I mean, Palantir is like what Palantir is like 450, 600. So Palantir obviously getting up there, and ANET, not a bad report, growing 25%. I don't see why the stock is getting sold off the way it is. However, don't fight the weakness if it is having some. Okay, don't fight the weakness if it is having some. I have way better trade opportunities tomorrow already mapped out with clear, concise plans that I want to play with, and ANET just doesn't make the cut tomorrow. I don't think it makes the cut tomorrow for me to trade. Oxy, oil name, and boomer name, oil name, you know, but Warren Buffett name. I think this anchored VWAP is basically from where Warren Buffett basically invested in that position. And the stock is coming back to it. However, I think Warren Buffett dumped Occidental Petroleum, right? Not sure. Now it's under its 200 and its 250-day moving average. That's actually pretty surprising. So clearly getting below multiple support areas, looking a little bearish, getting under is that like all-time low? Not all-time low, but that's a pretty important low if you ask me. The 52-week low, is that 52-week? That's not even the 52-week low. That's like COVID lows. So hitting COVID lows, that's what we are hitting on the support area, and getting below that is obviously drastic, because now you're telling me that all the buyers, if you did not take profits from the COVID area, if you were the biggest buyer from the COVID area and your average price is right around this, now you're basically coming back to break even. So expecting a lot of buyers and support to come in over here. I mean, Occidental makes money. They're possibly not growing, but they make money. Their PE is 1272. I'm not looking short. I'm not gonna say never say never, but unless the stock is staying below 45, I am not looking short. So, you know, it did sell off in the after hour over here. It didn't even get to 45 in the after hours, so there's no real conversation to even talk about the short side at the moment. Potentially getting a pop, and if you do get a pop, just imagine how much of a headwind you have to go through. You're having to fight a bunch of moving averages to the north side just to get long, so I'm not interested in that either. It's just too much trouble. Not clear blue skies on either side of the trade. Just not worth it for me. TOLL, tell me you gave a nice drop to the downside, because that looks like a good breakdown setup over there. It did break down on the earnings move, which is exactly what I want. Toll Brothers not building enough houses, or maybe not making as much money from the houses. So it looks like a little bit of a breakdown, negative earnings report, missing EPS, missing revenue, and honestly, that's all I need to see. So now on any pops on TOL, this one is kind of the only earnings report that I really like at the moment, on at least the price action that I really like, because it is giving you new ranges to finally play with. Previous ranges breaking down, decent liquidity for $100 name too. So spread should not be that bad, but expect it to be, you know, not as great as Tesla or Nvidia, right? Because of how liquid Nvidia is for $100 name. That's not the worst spread compared to TOL. Expect this one to be a little bit worse compared to Nvidia if you're just the Nvidia warrior. Couple stocks to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Etsy reporting tomorrow pre-market. Let me just quickly put TOL as a special color mark. Etsy reports tomorrow pre-market. SEDG, Solar Technologies, Solar Edge Technologies reports also tomorrow pre-market, giving you some good. What the heck are all these levels? Get them out of here. Giving you a possible breakout or a breakdown. We'll see how it sets up. ADI, Advanced Device Inc. Analog Device Inc. Sorry, there you go. Analog Device Inc. Decent volume, 7 million shares. Nice pop off of the previous all-time high. Nice support off of the previous all-time high. So it looks like good support area coming in around this 200. And if the report comes out bad, I wouldn't be surprised if the stock tests the 200 area one more time. So watch out for pre-market. I'm pretty sure this one reports pre-market tomorrow. There you go. ADI reports tomorrow pre-market, along with Wingstop. So Wingstop reporting tomorrow pre-market. I didn't really want to put Wingstop on the watch list because the 30-day average is less than 1 million, and it's also a $300 stock with less than 1 million shares average, so very ugly spread. But if the stock does manage to get above 320, 316, I think it could have a move into 350, and if it goes into 350, I think it could give you a good short setup or a potential long setup above 350, depending on how the earnings report comes out. So Wingstop on watch for tomorrow pre-market. Oxy and downtrend, Buffett sold because he is wrong. I remember that there was news that Warren Buffett did sell. Palantir, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest company in the world, Palantir. Apparently, at the very least, the greatest company in the world, Palantir. So shout out to Palantir. Why did I open this website? I was trying to go somewhere with this. Oh right, I was trying to go to the bar chart. Bar charts. I want to see where the gamma walls are on Palantir. So Palantir. I know 120 had a big call wall, and it still is one of the biggest call wall. And now that the fact that the stock is above 120, the longer we stay above 120, the more option buying will start to take place. And basically the same idea for any of these options. If they are not hedged already, a smart option writer potentially already hedged. But if they're not hedged already, the longer we spend above any of these big spike levels like 120, 125, 130, however, those levels look fairly small at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think this is also third Friday. So third Friday, this Friday, short week, third Friday, options expiry. It's going to be a big fun Friday for us to partake in. We'll see where Palantir actually closes, under 120 or above 120. Will be very fun to see how Palantir moves around. But at the moment, you know, it just looks like up and up, right? I did tell you Palantir looks like a possible breakout above 120, and I was right about that. You got a 5% move up on that breakout above 120. Tomorrow, I won't be surprised if Palantir goes to 130 above 125. The stock is now in a super stock mode. It is in parabolic mode. It's going absolutely nuts mode. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's actually doing very similar to what MSTR and Tesla did before they went parabolic and set up for a beautiful mean reversion. So watching to see whenever that comes into play. You want to see some volume coming in. You want to see the stock expanding in range. You want to see the stock expanding in volume and just capitulating itself on the daily chart, kind of like what HIMS did. HIMS, kind of like what HIMS did on the daily chart here, or TEM or GRAL, and that's why I'm interested to watch for a short on INTC, on SMCI, and WRD tomorrow. That's why I'm interested for those shorts. Quickly coming back to Palantir, just keep an eye on it. I think 125 under over is not a bad idea for tomorrow, but I'm not going to be looking breakout longs above 125. I'm actually going to put that in my notes. No breakout longs. Would like to see if stock is holding above 125 for dip longs. Always on watch for a blow off top 2. Kathy's got to sell eventually, right, chat? Kathy's got to sell eventually. How far is Palantir from the 5-day moving average? Only 5%. Nowhere close to extended yet. Okay, nowhere close to extended. TEM, I think it could find support off the previous earnings, previous all-time high. So you want to be careful, pressing short. But if the stock is staying below 79.50, staying below 80, then it's a no-brainer short on pops at that moment. So watching 79.50, 79.50 to $80, inflection $80, and then on pops, I'm watching to see how the stock behaves on today's VWAP, which is right around actually yesterday's low. I love when levels match up like that. So $84. Ideally, stock should not have any buying above 84/85 tomorrow. We'll be watching this area for potential barriers on pops to look for a day 2 short opportunity. And if the stock is trading clearly below 79.50, clearly below 80, I'm going to continue looking for that short opportunity again, as I just mentioned, because these stocks were a little extended. Keep in mind, January 21st, $43. I mean, what is that? That's a 113% profit. You're telling me Nancy is not taking profits? Come on, Nancy. Take the damn profits. This one was 241%. Come on, Nancy. Take the damn profits, okay? So, watching to see how these stocks set up. GRAL, like I mentioned, a little spready, so you want to be careful. This one was such a good trade today. All you have to do was take that 5-minute trend breakdown or use the S&B Capital trade setup, and that would have gotten you an entry around $59 right there. Your stop would have been $61, and your exit would have been right around $47.60. So you're getting $11.50, let's say, for risking $2. Wow, what we were, right? Wow, what we were. So watching for day 2 shorts, obviously. Watching to see how the stock behaves on pops into today's VWAP, which also happens to be yesterday's VWAP. Yesterday's price is not today's price. So what is that? Yesterday's VWAP 53. Today's VWAP 52.50. So I'm going to put that whole area to watch 52.50. Yesterday VWAP 3 for that VWAP. I'm just gonna put day before that VWAP. Okay. I'm watching to see how the stock trades between 52.50 to 53 for a short on pops. HIMS. This one is a different case, a little bit of a different case. Actually, I want to see the support area, which is what kind of today's low, 45. Yes, I'll just put 45 as a on watch for G. Oh, let's go to HIMS real quick, see what HIMS is doing. HIMS, I mean, you could still call it overextended, right? This candle is crazy, stupid candle if you ask me. So watching how it's kind of the same feeling behind WRD if you ask me, right? Nothing burger set up for a good short yesterday, sure. Nothing burger, but if it actually starts to be a something burger, I think that would be under like 55 $56, which is today's low. If the stock clearly gets under today's low and somewhere between this day's low, so whatever that day's low is, 58.60 to 55, somewhere between this range, I think we're just gonna keep like a no man's land territory forming, in which case you don't really want to be fighting that. But if we have a clear breakdown under today's low, or a setup for a clear breakdown into today's low, I think that's when I want to be real guns ready, guns blazing, whatever they say. That's what I want to set up for. That's how I think it's gonna set up for a real good clean trade. I'm gonna put it in my notes. I picture stock is going to be muddy between 60 and 55, creating no man's land. I'll just put 56, creating a no man's land. Only want the clean breakdown setups under 56. If stock already under 56, then we'll look for pops to get short. Simple. All right, nice and simple instructions in my notes for myself tomorrow to trade that position. Last but not least on my watch list, DKNG. Kind of a 3-bar breakout pattern. You could, put it in the EP basket maybe. Don't quote me on that, okay? I'm not a Kulamagi specialist. I'm not sure if this would be considered in the episodic pivot basket, but it very much looks like a 1 2 3 pattern, or a 3-bar play pattern. Basically what that means is the stock breaks out tomorrow and has a good rally to the north side, and on that breakout you're looking for on the price point of $53.65 or so. I'm just gonna round it up. It says 61. I'll just put 61. What? 361 area. You're watching to see if DraftKings can break out of it. If it's struggling around this area, then it's a failed breakout of the earnings day high, failed breakout of day 2 high. But if it does break out of this area and has buying above this area on every single dip, then it's a no-brainer 3-bar breakout, and you're actually having a day 3 follow through of the earnings momentum also. So even better for us to look for the long, especially if the market has that continuation move above all-time high that I was just talking about, which I think the market will have. So keep an eye out for that. So DraftKings, if strong above 53.50, a 3-bar play on daily. Would love market above all-time high for this to see day play. So low prio, still a high prio technically. I'm giving it an orange prio, not a blue prio. Blue prio is like the lowest priority for me. Let me see if my buttons still work here. Blue priority is like my lowest priority right there. For example, Meta, which maybe I should give Meta a little bit more respect. But Meta is my lowest priority. My mean reversion setups such as Intel, SMCI, IonQ, and so on, those are my highest priorities. And then DKNG, HIMS, LEAS, ARQQ, the less volume quantum names compared to IonQ, a little bit of a lower priority. It's like a mid-tier priority names to keep an eye out for tomorrow, and all of that will change to see how the stock sets up in the pre-market, or how these stocks set up in the pre-market. I know I said DraftKings last, but quickly, I want to talk about these markets real quick on QQQ and the S&P 500, mainly because I want to put it in my notes, not because I want to keep you informed, mainly because I want to put it in my notes. QQQ, if it gets above 540, no brainer long at that moment, and especially if it has buying above 540. S&P 500, what is the level that you got? 612, 611.50, 611.50. So if SPY is having buying above 611.50 tomorrow and it's staying strong, you're not looking short on the market. You're simply not looking short on the market. Maybe even looking for mean reversion tomorrow is kind of a complete stupidity thing to do if the market is having a blast off to all-time highs, right? So you might want to join the party, look for stocks that are actually strong. Some of the stocks that were strong today might be strong tomorrow, such as Intel, WRD. Some of the stocks that I'm actually looking for to join on the short side could actually be strong on the long side tomorrow. So watch how patterns set up, see how the market's playing out, and then join those parties to play and have some fun with. Palantir, for example, if the market's strong tomorrow, I don't see how Palantir is not strong above 125, right? So there could be a long over there for you to play with. So lots of opportunities for us on the day trading side every single day. Market will fall first, but the dip, buy the dip, says TH. We got an oracle in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, an absolute oracle in the chat. Money Mitch in the house. What's up, Money Mitch? Palantir, my friend, just keeps sending me updates on the win percentage. Yeah, short it and invite me to your funeral is what Palantir is saying. It started at 386%, now sending me 494%. I keep saying sell it. I got weekends, sold it at 40. You're a better man than me. I had it at $11 and I sold it at $30 or $25. So you're a better man than me. Now watching the stock at 125. Nope, I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy. I'm gonna go to sleep with a smile on my face. BE had momentum today. Tight chart, good looking. BE. This is Bloom Energy. Yeah, not a bad chart, but not sure I want to day trade this. I want to see like a breakout, some follow through. It's kind of in no man's land at the moment. I don't really want to day trade this at the moment. I need some newer ranges for me to play with on BE. Kind of what the problem was with ACHR. It kind of did break out of no man's land, but I just I needed it in a better range for me to play with. Palantir, I had it at long sub 20 and sold it for a loss. Well, buddy, you suck. What do you want me to tell you? You suck. Nah, I'm joking. Alright, so ACHR, moving on from that. Maybe quickly go through my crack list. Where's my crack list? And see if there's any stocks that stand out at a quick glance. BTR, that one's having a possible breakdown. Which one's this in? Crypto stocks. Okay, volume breakdown below 15 could be a possible trade opportunity. BTDR, is this like a Trump name? Am I forgetting this name? It could be a Trump name. Could have a good breakdown below 15, maybe worth throwing it on the watch list. I'll put it right below Palantir, above Palantir, I mean. BTDR 415. This is how I start losing track of the more important names on the day, and I go all crazy and I end up over trading because I'm looking at too many stocks on my watch list. Ugh. I don't care about AIFF. Fuck AIFF. Grail already on my watch list. Drone companies, no, banned. I'm banning drone companies for tomorrow. I don't care. Battery, don't care. Robotics, I do have some already. I'm gonna just watch those. China, Baba JD just does not want to break through 4250. I have an alert there. Whenever it goes into that alert, I'll be ready for it. China sector is still booming. FUTU up 1.4%. Pinduoduo up 3.4%. Baidu reported earnings down 7.5%. Qfin, the other AI related company from China, up 2.5%. So that sector is going a little bit. This is a nice breakout on BKSY above $18. BKSY is a space name, a space sector kind of in play. Nothing really over there, nothing really over there, nothing really over here. Uber getting above 80. I thought it would get above 80, but I purposefully ignored that on my watch list, and I think I might have done the right thing. Look how low volume Uber traded today. It had a good day, yes, but very little volume traded, so I don't really care about it, do I? So yeah, no other stocks make the watch list for tomorrow. So let me quickly show you guys the economic calendar, and then I'm gonna call it a night because today's stream is much longer than I need it to be. I have how many stocks to write up today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stocks to write up. Out of which I'm probably going to write up 2 or 3 in a little bit of a detail, and the rest of them I'm going to have to just quickly just write up skim notes or cliff notes on them and go to bed. So let me quickly give you guys the econ calendar for tomorrow. Economic calendar 8:30. You got building permits, housing numbers again, Atlanta GDP at 10:30, 20-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. That could move the market, but more importantly, FOMC minutes. Keep in mind, meeting minutes, not the interest rate decision. It's the FOMC meeting minutes. So whatever they've been having a conference meeting on the previous conference compared to the current conference, you will see the transcript being published, and you will see words crossed out with new words above it in red, or however any platform that you use shows it. You will see previous words, new words, previous sentiment, new sentiment, hawkish versus dovish. What are the other FOMC members voting for, or what are they thinking about the current market sentiment? So all of that will be revealed, and then that will potentially move the market above the all-time high or back below the all-time high area. So watching how 2 o'clock sets up on FOMC minutes tomorrow, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the end of the stream. Hopefully, on the short week we make tons of money. Good opportunities are there. Grail and TEM is all you needed today. So that's all you needed. But hey, you win some, you lose some. I traded IonQ as well as I could. Man, I hurt myself shoveling snow, so my body hurts a little bit. It's like bruised up. Hurts. Anyways, it's a me problem. I'll go deal with that, and I'll go do some homework and a bunch of other stuff, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Not same time, same place as today, or at least not same time as today, but same place as today. Tomorrow it'll be back to regular schedule, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. I'm losing my mind. It'll be 8 o'clock tomorrow, back here. I'll see you guys. Take care. TraderPrad out. Peace. Also had a pretty good day on themselves today, so pretty good moves across the board. Tech basket get destroyed. Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, Pro
Promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.